Thank you so much for watching the Bunkies YouTube channel. My name is John, and today we're talking about this Amcrest camera. Now, Amcrest did send us this unit to test out, and this is all my opinion. They're not paying for my opinion, etc. I will say before they sent this unit out, I've put on, I believe, 5 cameras on my residence, and also I've put 15 cameras on an office building. So I've definitely into their system. I think it's fantastic. They sell an excellent camera and have good customer service, and they always have new products coming out like this particular one here. So if you do have any questions about Amcrest, the one we're talking about, or my personal experience, please leave them in the comments below. Also hit a thumbs up if this is helpful and that red subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and let's get into it. So here we are with the Amcrest 4K UltraHD 8 megapixel POE outdoor bullet camera. And this product number is IP8M-2496EW-40mm, which is actually 4.0 millimeter when you see the thing. All right, we're gonna do a quick unboxing as it's pretty simple. This is the box itself, not very big. There's an Apple mouse for comparison. It just shows the features on each side, which I'll list below. They have an app. This is 8 megapixel. And then here are all the technical specs here, which will also be below. We're gonna go ahead and open this up. I have opened it once to just kind of go through it and see what's in it. I just want to show you guys it is a pretty simple unboxing. We have a quick start guide, which is very helpful if you've never done this before. We have a sticker which you can put on your house or wherever you're mounting this and see the screw holes and the hole for the additional wires. This shows you the warranty where you can get more information on their website. This is actually super important. If you haven't done this and you have an Amcrest camera, go to amcrest.com/firmware and they will notify you of firmware updates. And then this particular one comes with a free month of Amcrest cloud storage. Here's the camera itself. Let's pull this out of here. Comes in a bag. The housing, this is all metal here. This is metal and metal. And then this front bit where the lens is plastic. But I'm pretty impressed with the housing. It's actually pretty heavy, so you can see the quality. And then we have a few screws for mounting. So moving this aside, on the end here, again, this is a POE camera. So you have the jack right there. And I believe this is an audio port. And then this kind of thick area here. And that's why you definitely do need this larger hole to get this through here when you're drilling either into your house or wherever you're mounting them. All right, so now we're going to show you just the features of the camera itself. So you can loosen this right here and just have a little more ease when moving this. And you can also twist this right here to rotate this accordingly. I've covered up the serial number there, but that's it. You can, well, maybe not a thumb. You can use a screwdriver or a dime or something to loosen this and move this shade over the top of this to provide just a little bit more protection on the lens part of it, and also possibly to shade out the sun as well. Then on the back, you'll notice these 2 screws for the MicroSD. So I'll go ahead and remove that and show you. You can see right there, hopefully you can see, that's where the SD card goes, excuse me. So I do have one we can put in there. Let's see here. So just a regular SanDisk. Got it on a deal on Amazon. Come in here. I'm not sure which way this goes. Yeah, I see it. Not sure if you can hear it, but you push it down and there is a little slight click. Additionally, that button right there says reset, and we'll get the rest of this put back together. So there is a rubber seal right here, so this gasket around the outside, which I think is definitely helpful since this is an outdoor camera. So I'll get this hooked back up. All right, so now we're going to get into hooking this camera up so you can see how it works, see the software, etc. Again, I just love the build quality of this. And then on the wire here, you'll see there is that Ethernet port. And one thing I failed to show you was it does come with a bag of kind of goodies, if you will. The Ethernet wire can go through here, and there's a cap and a gasket as well to really seal this off if you're going to have it exposed to the elements. So with a power over Ethernet camera, you put your camera where you'd like it. You take some Ethernet cord and plug it in here. So there's that. And then this you can run, I believe, up to 150 feet. You can correct me if I'm wrong, into a POE injector switch. So POE is power over Ethernet. This is an injector. It's one by TP-Link that I really like because this one is small and easy to install. There's other ones that are larger, but this one will run you, I think, $15 to $17. Then on one side it says LAN in, so this goes to your internet, and then this side goes to the camera. So it's as easy as plugging this into here, and then I'll plug this into the internet, and we'll show you from there. All right, before we get into the camera, I opened up Chrome and I searched Amcrest Web View. Now you can view it through the Chrome browser, but this web view allows for all the options to show. It does have a terrible rating system on here, but I've actually never had a problem with it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Add to Chrome. It's going to say, are you sure? I'm going to say yes. And then we'll give it a second to be added to Chrome. It's still downloading. It is large at 135 megabytes, and the internet is chugging today, so it is taking a little longer than usual. So let's see. If I go here, there it is right there. I'll open it. Now if you see here, it's just this window here. So let's see if I make it a little bigger. And now we're going to type in the IP address. I believe it's 76. So what I did is I went into my router. There it is right there. And I just checked for a new device. So I just checked for the wired interface, which this one is directly wired in because it's a PoE. And then as a default, I believe it's admin until you set it up. And then see, there it is right there. It says add a new password. So we'll just do an easy one to start. To get rid of that admin. All right, so we'll give it a second to load here. So right now it's looking at my Honda coffee mug. Let's see if I can pull this back. All right. So we're just doing for testing purposes, but I really wanted to walk you through the setup here. So I'll go to Setup. There's my mug. You can change the brightness on the contrast, saturation, and a whole bunch of things. But I usually don't touch any of these because the picture is usually pretty good, depending on where I'm going to put it. And I will put it outside, but I wanted to do an initial setup. So you can see, you can actually just see this tutorial. Let's see how that looks. So we'll put this back down, leave it on the mug. If you ever need to flip it, so you put it at a different angle or it's upside down or whatever, this is very important to have. Also mirroring, if the image isn't quite what you're seeing. So say this coffee mug is not on the right hand side here, then you can mirror it and flip it around. Exposure, again, I don't really change a lot of this. I leave everything on auto. Under video, The only thing I do change is I usually always change to H.265, and the reason is there's less bandwidth needed to see a really great picture over the line, so I usually always change this to 265, so H.265. And there's some graphs on our website and also all over the web comparing H.264 to 265, and overall I found 65 to be the best overall. So what we have here is the main stream is going to have a resolution of 3840 by 2160, which is the max of this camera. But the frame rate at the max is at 15 frames per second. So you might see a little stuttering. You definitely will see stuttering. So say someone was walking up a driveway, you'd see them, and that might be tough. Won't be as smooth as you'd like. If I go to 3027 by 2048, I can now get up to 20 frames per second. If I go down again, and these are still excellent, 3072 by 1728, I can get to 25, so it's not as big of a jump. And then if I go down to 2592 by 1944, nope, it's still there. Let's see, what does it take to get to 30? If it ever gets to 30. There we go. So once you come down to 2304 by 1296, and I'd have to look what those exactly are, I can get that 30 frames per second, which is great. And then there's your bitrate. Watermark setting, if you want to have a watermark, I usually do things like the yard, the driveway. I have chicken, so I'll write chicken cam here. I'll just try that for right now. Chicken cam, and go ahead and hit save. So now if I come back to the live, so that's what it looks like. I know it's not the best picture at the moment, but we will get it outside to show you. All right, next up, under network, DHCP is just the automatic giving of an IP address. I usually change it to static, and I change it in my router that this one always has a static IP of something. Dynamic DNS allows you to find it over the internet using amcrestddns.com, which is great. Other things I change is I usually always enable HTTPS. Under event video detection, I just leave as is unless I'm having an issue. Storage will go to, and we'll go to, not schedule, destination. So if you remember, we did put in an SD card. It is a 64 gig up to 100 megabytes a second card that I got from Amazon deals. So I'm going to go to SD card. It does not see one, or maybe it does. Oh yeah, it does right here. Disk 1. It shows as basically 60 gigs instead of 64. You can click format. It says, are you sure? It'll format and reboot. I'll say yes, and then it'll format it. So format is successful. A reboot is required. Please wait while this refreshes. So that's just fine. Not sure why it has to reboot, but it does in order to see that card. Usually, even though it saw it, just as a rule of thumb, I always try to format it in the device that'll be using it, just so there's no issues with the card or corruption, etc. So we'll give this a minute to refresh. All right, now we're back. We'll go back to the setup. All right, general setup. I usually go to the date and the time, and I do change it. So the date format right out of the gate is year, month, day. I like month, day, year, just depending on where you are. The time format always defaults to 24-hour clocks. I like 12. The time zone, I think it guesses it, but it did get it for me. And then you check your time. And then lastly, you can enable daylight standard time. So if you change the clocks, and also you can sync with this server right here. You can put in Google or another one if you'd like. So go ahead and hit save. You can manage users. Upgrade. This allows you to upgrade the firmware. One thing I don't like about these is anytime I hit check, nothing happens. If I hit download the latest, nothing happens as well. I've tried that on Chrome and in their thing here, and that's where a lot of the complaints come from. All right, so that's kind of a run through of the camera itself. We will put it outside and show you what it looks like. All right, so now we've gone ahead and installed it in our chicken yard. It's actually a super windy day. So there's feathers and junk and molting and all that blowing around in here. You can see some birds out there in the distance. When hooking it up, one gripe that I have is I don't know if you can see this. There's this kit that comes with this set that you put on here and a gasket to essentially seal this Ethernet cord. The problem is I had already made these, and if they're pre-made, actually it does fit. No, well, the one I had outside had a jacket over the top. This is one that I had purchased, but this one does appear to fit. Oh man. Maybe I'll try that. Well, if you can see it, I can only get it in that far. So if it was a little wider here, that'd be great. Maybe something rubber that I could put over the top to really seal this connection. That'd be fantastic. So here we are here. I am recording on a 4K monitor, but if I make this full size, my computer can't handle it. But you can see we have the correct time, and there's the date. If I go to the substream, it should show, yep, you can see a lot lesser of a quality. Hopefully you can see that on YouTube. Again, if I go back to setup, to video, and I turn this all the way up, but then I have that 15 frames per second, I'll go ahead and hit save. Hopefully I can see the difference here. Go to the mainstream. It's thinking. Does it look maybe a little more crisp, but I'm not sure. I'd have to really compare it side by side. You can see the kind of jitter if you watch up here in the trees. Even at 15 frames per second, that chicken looks pretty good as far as its movement. But the big shadow changes here with the trees is very noticeable. I'll go back and I'll bring it down. Just bring it down one step here. So, oh yeah, that takes us to 20. I'll hit save. I'll go back to live. I don't know, at 20 you would see quite a bit of movement in here. You'd see a person. And we'll definitely test this out a little bit more. So you can see how it's extremely windy right now. So we have broken trees, etc. So there is huge movement right up here. All right, well, that's the roundup of this camera. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Additionally, if any part of this video was helpful in any way, I'd love a thumbs up. And also go ahead and hit that red subscribe button if this review and walkthrough of this Amcrest camera was helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching.
Fried chicken. Gimme fried chicken. Baby, it's all I